Hey, how's it going, everybody? Gonna do another review today. This time I'm doing Alice in Chains, one of my favorite bands of all time. Gained a lot of popularity during the whole grunge movement of the early 90s and released some great albums. But I'm not doing an album, I'm doing an EP technically. And I know doing an EP for an album review, whatever. People review Jar of Flies as an album, so I figure I can review Sap as an album since Jar of Flies is also an EP. But whatever. It's an EP, but I'm reviewing it anyway. Released on February 4th, 1992, and it was recorded during November of 1991. Um, they had just finished touring for their debut album Facelift, which came out in 1990. And during that tour, they had just come off of touring for Facelift. They were on a tour called Clash of the Titans, which consisted of metal bands like Slayer and Anthrax and Megadeth, and then they had Alice in Chains on this tour. And they were pretty out of place on this tour. When Facelift came out, they were really promoted as a metal band, which they were not. And this was before, believe it or not, this was before the whole grunge movement happened, gained popularity. This was like at least a year before Nevermind came out. So, by Nirvana, if you don't know that. And they used to get booed off stage a lot at this tour, which is a shame because I like some of Slayer's stuff. I like Megadeth. I like Anthrax, but Alice in Chains, I think, is a better band than all these bands. And it sucks that they weren't appreciated until, the whole grunge gained popularity. But they had come off of that tour and they wanted to start recording an album, demos for the next album, which would end up being Dirt, their magnum opus, as far as I'm concerned. But instead of doing that right away, they recorded 5 acoustic songs. And the drummer, Sean Kinney, had a dream about recording an EP called Sap. So what they did is they recorded an EP called Sap. And the rest is history after that. Really good EP. There's only 5 songs on it, and one of them is hidden. And I'll get to those. There's some guests on this album, some Seattle area guests, like Ann Wilson from Heart's from Seattle. Mark Arm of Mudhoney, which was another grunge band from Seattle, who never got as big as they should have. And Chris Cornell of Soundgarden. I'm sure you know Chris Cornell. Soundgarden, his solo stuff, his Audioslave work. So I'm going to get to the songs now. There's not really a whole lot to say about the recording of the EP. They recorded 5 acoustic songs, and it's really cool to see this other side of Alice in Chains. I'm glad, because this and Jar of Flies, if it wasn't, and some stuff on the self-titled album in '95, really shows their diversity. They're not just a heavy band, and they can tone it down a little bit and record some really beautiful music. All right, first song, Brother. You might have heard this on MTV Unplugged. It's one of the songs they did on that. Ann Wilson from Heart, like I mentioned before, she does some background vocals on this. Jerry Cantrell wrote it about his younger brother who moved away. Their parents got divorced. Jerry Cantrell stayed with his mom. His younger brother, moved with his dad, and it was fucked up for them to be separated. And he wrote this song as kind of a like kind of building a bridge between him and his brother, and it's really sad song when you. It sounds sad, and when you hear what it's about, it's even more sad. And I'm sure they're adults now. I'm sure they spend time together, but they were adults then. Well, when he wrote the song, he was an adult, but what the song's about, they were not adults. That's what I mean to say. But I'm sure they spend time together now. But really, really beautiful song. Probably my favorite song on this EP. Probably one of my favorite Alice in Chains songs. Period. Really great song. All right, Got Me Wrong. Number 2. It's probably about it. It's the most popular song from this EP. It was on the soundtrack of the movie Clerks, Kevin Smith's movie. It was a slightly different version, very slightly, on the soundtrack, and it was on there when Randall first comes out, the character Randall, and Jerry Cantrell said he wrote it about a girl he was dating. One of the girls he was dating in between the time he was with this girl he considered the love of his life, and I believe he ended up marrying her. But they broke up a few times, and there were times in between where he dated someone else. This is about a girl he dated in one of those in-between times, and I guess he had told her, I don't really want to be in a relationship. This is who I am, and she didn't really listen and tried to change him, and it didn't work out, obviously. And it's really about the different ways men and women see each other. It's a relationship song, and they don't have a whole lot of those, so it's a nice song. I love it a lot. They also did this on Unplugged, and you actually heard that song quite a bit, that version quite a bit too. Really great song. Can't say enough about it. It's really good. Number 3, Right Turn. This song is actually not credited to Alice in Chains, even though it's on an Alice in Chains EP. It's credited to Alice Mudgarden due to the fact that Mark Arm from Mudhoney and Chris Cornell from Soundgarden both appear on this track. It's hard for me to differentiate Mark Arm and Lane Staley singing in this, and I can do it, but it takes a little listening. But like always, when Chris Cornell's voice comes through on this song, it's great. And they got the name Alice Mudgarden because Alice in Chains, Mudhoney, Soundgarden. They just combined them. It seems to be about a man and a woman who are in a relationship but broke up and are trying to figure out why they couldn't make it work. I don't know that for sure. That's what I gather from the lyrics. There's not really much about it. It's a really good song, though. Everyone's vocals are great. Chris Cornell's vocals are great when he comes in with his screaming voice that I love so much. And another great song. 3 great songs so far. Number 4, Am I Inside? This is the other song that has Ann Wilson from Heart doing backing vocals. It's the only one on the whole EP that was written by Lane Staley. The other ones were all written by Jerry Cantrell. And it's a really, really sad song about loneliness and struggle. And it's just a really depressing song. The lyrics are really depressing. I don't know if there's any that are more depressing than this song. And they have a lot of depressing songs. I'm assuming part of it has to do with Lane Staley's well-documented drug addiction. I'm not totally sure, but the next album was Dirt, and that whole album is about drug addiction. Not just Lane Staley's either. But it's a really sad, beautiful song. I see it as a precursor to Dirt, lyrically at least. Just really depressing, just sad music. The lyrics are really sad in the song. Like I said, I think it has to do with Lane's drug addiction, which would surface in many, many future Alice in Chains songs, and eventually it would kill him, sadly enough. But that's what happened to a lot of these people from this era. They did a lot of heroin and stuff, and they died, unfortunately. And some of them are still dying. Some of them they lasted longer, but they still died from the same thing. It's really sad. Really great song though. All right, number 5 is Love Song, called Love Song. It's a hidden track. It's got some really random things going on in this song. Random lyrics like him yelling, "My gums are bleeding," and things like get the fucking midget, kiss the fucking midget. Just a lot of really random things he said, but I enjoy the song. It's humorous. And it's a very strange way to close out this pretty mellow EP. So yeah, I would give this, it's an EP. I don't know if I should rate it the same as an album. Probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway. I would give this a 9 out of 10. Definitely a 9 out of 10. I like Love Song. It's funny and everything, but you know, I would have rather had a regular song. So I'll give it a 9 out of 10. So every song on this is great. The first 4 songs are amazing. The last song is humorous. It's not real. I don't know if you'd really call it a real song, but it's very funny. But yeah, so that was Sapped by Alice in Chains from 1992. It's kind of looked over a lot. Like, people don't really know about this. It's they have all the songs. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. They recorded a version of Rooster for Sapped, which he ended up not using, and instead recorded another version for Dirt. But the version of Rooster recorded for Sapped was included on their Music Bank box set, which I have the Sapped EP and I have the box set, and it's really good. So there's that. And like I was gonna say, they're not really known for this EP. Not everyone knows about it. They include all the songs on their box set, Music Bank. But it's a definitely worthy addition to their catalog. If you like Alice in Chains, I highly recommend. If you can't find it, listen to it somewhere. I'm sure it's on Spotify or something. Just give it a listen. It's really good. It's really another side of Alice in Chains. Early on in their career, establishing early on in their career that they're not a one-note band. So, really great. And I hope you listen to it, and I hope you like it. So I will see you next time. Have a good day.